this video we're going to be furnishing the third building in my series of Nordhaven Shops. I actually have this as a shell, so the whole exterior is finished and it's up on the gallery. If you are interested in decorating your own, I would really love to tour them at some point, but that's going to be after I'm done furnishing the whole thing, and I will probably still give people a little bit longer for that, so you can find it on my gallery. My ID is Veranio, and there's also going to be a link in the description as well as a hashtag on screen and also in the description so that you can tag them and I can find them. And yeah, I'm just I would really love to see what other simmers do with this shell. And this one in particular, this building, is going to be a flower shop downstairs, and upstairs it's sort of a studio apartment. I'm not entirely sure if it is that exactly, because there's a living room in the downstairs and then upstairs is the whole rest of the living area. But other than that, everything is really just one room. And I did one thing that I really liked, which is that this one has actually a terrace on the top of the roof, so that they can grow their own plants and flowers and use them to make and sell flower arrangements. And I really liked the way that I managed to incorporate the ladder into the design of this house, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We've just finished the entryway with some alarms, a mirror, and umbrellas, as well as some hanging plants, because this house is really all about plants, so I included some in the print on the rug and on the couch as well. I am using this frame TV that has the ocean, so I was thinking about nature a lot, so I tried to use lots of textures and colors that were reminiscent of that. So for example, I have this stone wallpaper pretty much everywhere, and I think it actually looks really cute. And one thing that I really liked was that I added that dresser so that there's some like extra storage, and I didn't really know what I wanted to use for clutter in there, but I remembered that in my plans there's going to be a candy store next door, so I just added a jar of candy, and I thought that was nice that it kind of connects the different buildings to each other. So I think that maybe if somebody has flowers, they bought them from the flower shop, and these cookies were probably from the bakery or the cake shop that another one of the buildings has, or maybe even from the cafe. So I just really like the idea of all of these Sims being neighbors, and I think that if I were going to play in here, I would have them all be part of the Sim household, since each Sim can have their own business, and I think that could be really fun. But this is how I managed to incorporate that ladder that I was mentioning. I am using this tall door from the new Businesses and Hobbies pack, and that allowed for a lot of natural light to come in through a window well, basically. And that Moschino window also looks like it lets in some air, so I thought that was a pretty good solution to this. And I always knew that I wanted this one to be the one with the terrace, because it was going to be in between different buildings, and I'm just so happy with how everything turned out. And this kitchen is using the country kitchen kit, but I wanted to try the new stove from the restoration workshop kit, I think it's called, but I am using the fridge from country kitchen, as well as a bunch of clutter from the new kitchen clutter kit. And there are so many kits in here going on, and I apologize, but I thought that this stove would look really nice next to this fridge. They are both sort of antique, but they don't look like a matching set, even if they are pretty much the same color. So I thought that was a really nice look for this. And because everything here is about plants, I am adding a bunch of planters and a propagation station and so on here next to the window, so that they could have some natural light. And I just thought that that was really cute. I even added some extra clutter into the cabinets here in the kitchen, just so that it wasn't so obvious that I was using some that were exactly the same. Oh, and I added this like floral motif on the wall, and I was very happy with this kitchen. I also really liked those herbs that are drying on the wall, and it all seems like a realistic kitchen. And I was thinking that maybe this sim isn't as much into cooking as the other ones are. This is, I think, the smallest kitchen in this whole lot. Maybe there's a smaller one in the cafe, but the cafe has its own like kitchen areas. And speaking of which, I have all of those videos in a playlist, so that's also going to be linked down below. And as I said, if you want to grab the shell, you can do that already, but if you want to grab the finished version, I should have that up soon. I will probably have that up even before I'm finished with the videos of this, because I'm going to go away for a couple of days, so that also gives you more time to finish your shells, your versions of these, so that I can actually tour them and everything, which I would really love to do. The dining room area, it's all very simple. It's just a table from Paranormal, which has a tablecloth, which was in a perfect pink swatch. So I was very happy with that because it matches the chairs from Businesses and Hobbies. And I knew that I wanted an office space, so I added a little desk in here. I suppose I could have had it next to the wall, but I just really liked having it right in front of the window. And I thought that having a golden laptop would be sort of a nice touch in here. I am using some of the clutter from the Comfy Gamer kit, which is a very nice kit for office clutter, and I always want more of that. I have struggled with cluttering up desks in the past, so yeah, I'm very happy with that kit. I think that the kits, these recent ones, have been really good. I like that there's some gameplay attached to some of the objects, and I just really want to build with all of them. And it just felt right for this corner to be like this in such a plant-centric build. I added a, I'm not sure what to call it. It's like a cup for boba tea or that sort of drink. And I added this fudge that has the cow plant, just so that there would be even more plants. But also because I just bought one of those for myself. It's glass and it has the name of the cafe where I bought it. So I think it's just really cute and I enjoy it very much. So I now relate to that object more than I used to. I'm not going to add any stickers because it already has the name of the cafe. But yeah, I'm going to be thinking of that when I use that item. But in the bedroom, I really knew that I wanted to use a floral print here for the bed. And I used some tables that I wasn't very convinced by. This Blooming Rooms kit table I have never used, I don't think, because it's too crazy, but here I felt like it made sense, and I even added a planter next to it. And the smaller one from, well, the taller and skinnier one from Businesses and Hobbies, it has some strange proportions, but I felt like it fit in there, and I was thinking that only one sim lived in here, like one sim with her dog, so I thought that it wouldn't be a problem if the other side of the bed didn't have a nightstand that close to it. I just really enjoyed adding the tiny like fairy house with the mushroom. I think that item is so cute. I also think that the item with the cacti and the succulents in the cups with the books is also super cute, and it's so nice in here to decorate on top of that dresser that has the same floral print that I have in a few of the places here in this apartment. And yeah, so everything here is very floral. I liked adding this rack of clothes. I chose a swatch that had some green and more like natural tones, and I did the same for the shoes, or at least I tried to do that. And I have like a little makeup and like hair station, but it's right in front of the dog bed, so I don't think that's going to be very practical unless I mean, I don't think it works in The Sims, but I figured maybe you could scoot the dog bed over. I don't know. But yeah, then I decided that I wanted to have some sort of like big wall decoration, so I got this gallery wall from Paranormal, and I think that it looked really good with these wreath from Laundry Day. There's a few wreaths in the game, and I always forget which ones I like or which ones are best for different spaces. So eventually I found that one, and I thought that was the way to go. But here in the bathroom we have a sort of more modern space. I'm using the sleek bathroom kit a lot, although the tile is base game and from high school years, and the wall decorations are from Lost Track, those plants, and the top is from Businesses and Hobbies. But I really liked the green that it came in, so I decided not to use the top from that kit. And I also got a sink from For Rent because I really liked the idea of these buildings being really old, and as such they have been renovated, but they have some quirks. So some spaces maybe were renovated a while ago actually, so perhaps the sink was working, so they decided not to do anything about it. And I am also using some of the clutter from that kit, but the candles are actually from the Businesses and Hobbies expansion. But yeah, I thought that these worked really well. Because of how the windows were, I couldn't have a smaller bathroom, but I actually like this. It's an interesting layout, except for the windows and the blinds. I think it would be a really nice bathroom to have. And yeah, I liked how all of those stuff matched with the green swatches that I was using. But now we're going to be working on the terrace, so I thought that it would be nice to have some sort of entryway mat right in front of this door, just in case there's rain or anything. I do have a drain in there, so that at least looks sort of realistic, I suppose. But still, I think there's probably going to be a lot of mud in here because I think that it probably rains in Nordhaven. Well, it definitely rains more than it does where I live. It hasn't rained in what feels like forever, and the heat is just unbearable. But apart from that, I just really wanted to have a gardening area on one side of this terrace, and I thought that adding some bees and a bird feeder would be some nice additions so that there would be some more activities besides just gardening. And I did add a bunch of stuff that was just decorative, so some of the plants and the gardening tools and everything, they are just really for the vibe of it. As well as these gnomes, they are also from Businesses and Hobbies, as well as the craftable planters. And I thought it would be interesting to add something else from that new kit, the workshop one, and I added the like a box of stuff like supplies. It felt realistic, and I did try to see if there were any other items from that kit that felt useful for such a space, but I didn't really find any. And anyway, there's that eco lifestyle gardening station, which looks pretty well supplied. And I also thought that it would be nice to have a bucket. I could have used the bucket from the restoration workshop kit, but it didn't really occur to me. And also that one is a chair, so yeah, I just didn't think about it in the moment. But this other side of the terrace is going to be really for entertaining, and I have this big table. It has space for 6 chairs, and I also wanted to have the hydroponic planter just because it fit. I suppose it's functional in the way that I placed it. I'm going to make sure to play test this, but I think that it should work. But yeah, there's a grill, there's like a cooler, and then I just decided to add some little plants into these roof pieces. It just felt like a natural thing that somebody would do. And then I added some next to the front door. I have this set of plants from Growing Together, which is a really nice set. It's pretty big, and here it fits perfectly. I also added one from Cottage Living. That plant has some really weird shadows when you are indoors, but outside it looks perfect, so I thought that it would be a nice addition. And I decided to add some more planters, and that also helped hide some of the weird clipping that I was having. This section is just like on a step, so the rest of of this shop has kind of a, you can kind of see a seam right where the stairs are, and I also decided not to add walls around that part just because the railing was at the perfect height, so it looks like it would allow for the air and some light to pass through, which maybe isn't such a great idea because I think that flower shops don't smell really nice because they often have flowers that are a bit old, or maybe all of the smells don't really mix well with each other. So anyway, it's a Sims, and I think that you can actually add some like fragrance to the flower arrangements, so it should be okay. And my idea for this store was for it to look kind of like a garden or a patio. So I am using a lot of that same stone, but I am also using these vines in some of the walls and the ceilings. They are from Lovestruck, and I think they are a very nice like painted detail. And I also thought about using like greenhouse windows here in this display section, but I ended up just adding one of these big windows from For Rent. It looks like a door, so it seems like there would be access into this space so that the display can be changed. But yeah, that was the idea behind that. And I also added like an outdoorsy tall table. That this is like a bar height table, but I thought that it would be nice to have some sort of bouquet. I am using the ones from Lovestruck and also the ones from Seasons, which you can make on the flower arranging or arrangement. Well, that's that piece of furniture that we have in the back of this shop, and I I just think that it would probably be a very nice way to earn money in the game. I decided to add some other plants in here, some other flowers and bouquets, which if you have in these surfaces, you will be able to sell. So if you don't have enough time to be making enough arrangements, you would still have this option of selling different plants that are in the normal catalog. And also, I think that you would probably get a lot of money from gardening in that terrace. Of course, you would have to make sure that you have plants for all seasons if you want to always be able to sell them. But otherwise, I think that it would be a very nice apartment to own and a very nice store to run. I thought that it would be interesting to add a shelf with some of these plants that are just in the regular catalog, so I chose this one with the painted flowers from the Country Kitchen Kit just to sort of stay within that same aesthetic. And I also decided that it would be nice to add a chair in here and a telephone just to make this look a bit more professional. I really liked that lion fountain that's on the wall there and the leaf curtains. I think that's an interesting touch. I think that this one has been the hardest shop that I've ever made because I didn't really know what to add to it to make it look nice. I don't really go to flower shops, and the ones that I've seen aren't fancy at all, so I didn't really have a lot of inspiration that I wanted to use. But yeah, I decided to style this display as if it was also a patio, and romantic garden was great for that. I also used some flooring from Garage Living, and I sized up this bouquet from Lovestruck. And then I remembered that we have these fairy statues from vampires. I hope we get fairies eventually, but I thought they looked really cute in there, and I just added some more neon signs. But that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it, and I hope that you download the show so that you can make your own version of it. And if you tag it and everything, I would also really love to see your versions. And it would be nice if I could tour some of them for a video here on the channel. But yeah, thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye everyone!